Good morning, everyone, and good afternoon for our guests from Asia Pacific region. Thank you for joining our webinar today. Before we get started, a few important technical information. We will record the webinar and make it available for you via our YouTube channel. All audience lines are muted because we would like to ensure the good audio quality. Please send your questions via the Q&A section. You can enter your questions during the webinar at any time. This field can be found on the right side of your screen. At the end of the session, we answer your questions. Let me start with a short introduction about our presenters today. We have two presenters, Sören Wittmann, who is the product manager of Aviotec, and Teresa Grünewald, the global business development manager for Aviotec. And my name is Anna Balázs, who is the host of the session today. And now I would like to give the floor to Teresa. Teresa, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Anna. So hello and welcome everybody to this webinar today about the Aviotec for sheltered outdoors. The objective of the webinar is that you will get to understand what is now the development of Aviotec. So we are detecting flames and smoke also in the outdoor. We are focusing on three topics today. We are first making a short wrap-up. I don't know who of you already heard about Aviotec and who of you already knows how it works. So this is what we are taking care of in the wrap-up, that everybody has the same knowledge level. Also, you will get to know then the development we made since Aviotec started and the new approach of Aviotec, using it also in the outdoor environment. And as a last point, we will focus then on the AI approach. So what is behind that one? And how is it helping to really detect flames and smoke also in the outdoor environment? First of all, we are now starting with the Mentimeter question. To whom of you who not worked with Mentimeter yet, it would be really helpful to us to understand where you see the need that Aviotec is installed in. So in which vertical or in which area. For that, just take your smartphone and make a photo or just open the link you will then receive by scanning the QR code, or you just enter in your browser the menti.com and then you go with the code which is beneath the QR code and you can then enter the question. So it's up to you to answer. It's totally anonymous, so we do not see who is answering what. And it is really helpful for us to understand the market and also your view on where a video-based fire detection could be needed. In addition to that question, it will stay open all the time during the webinar, so you can go back whenever you like. There is also another question. We would like to have your input on where you see Aviotec in the future and what do you see is needed? What do you need to have in the future with a video-based fire detection solution? Having said that, we are starting with the wrap-up right now. And this part is part of our product manager. So Sören, please take over that part.
Hello, thank you, Teresa, for the introduction. So also hello from my side. I want to start with a short wrap-up of what is video-based fire detection and how does it work. So first of all, video-based fire detection is the detection of fires, of flame and smoke with video surveillance cameras, with artificial intelligence or algorithms which are developed for this purpose. So in this case, you have somewhere a fire in an application. The camera detects the fire in its field of view, decide if this is an alarm and transmits the alarm, for example, to a video management system, or if you have connected the camera, for example, to a fire panel, also to the fire panel. So how does it work and what we are doing in the background? So we have different algorithms included into this camera. The first one is a flame detection algorithm. It detects flame in the image, And what we have here, you see the video. I will start it in a few seconds. This is our fire lab we have at our Bosch location. So this test fire is a TF6, so it's an ethanol fire, so it's only flaming fire without smoke production. The setting in our fire lab is the most unfavorable setting you can use. It is in robust mode with the longest verification time. So, and in this case, we have here 16 seconds of verification time. So what we can see is with this red outline, so the camera has already detected this fire in the fire lab. So what is behind? What is the algorithm doing? On the one hand side, it is searching for a flame core. So it's an area which is illuminated constantly with flame colors. The second part is the flickering area, which should be somewhere above the flame. And the combination of both the flame outline is also part of the analytics here. For smoke detection, also a video from our fire lab. This is a TF2, it's a smoldering wood fire. So there's wood on this heater plate, and this will be heated up. And if the heater plate gets around about 330 degrees, it starts smoldering. The setting also here, the most unfavorable setting. So in robust of the AVIOTEC with a verification time of 30 seconds, which is the longest verification time we allow in the camera. The algorithm needs a certain smoke density. So the density, the smoke has to be visible in front of the background. So we say, okay, it has to be around about 40% smoke density. So the contrast decrease from the background is around 40%. What is the algorithm doing? It is detecting the motion of these half-transparent objects in front of the background. We have the detection here. It has to be constant in direction and speed. And typically, as the smoke is warmer than the surrounding air, it is upward moving. And we are also triggering on sideward moving smoke, but this we will show you later. So Teresa, I guess it will be your part again.
Yeah, thanks a lot. So what we have seen now is how AVIOTEC is working, but it was indoor. So it was our fire lab, and today's webinar is about the outdoor. We will get to know why we did that wrap up to have you understanding how this solution is working. But first of all, let's see what is our use for AVIOTEC in the outdoor area. Why are we thinking that we need to use a video-based fire detection solution in the outdoor area? As you can see on the picture on the right-hand side, it is an outdoor storage of an industry. Here they are storing material, paper, wood, anything you need for your production. Suddenly, we don't have any really specialized and developed detector which is working in the outdoor environment. Seen from the standard and the norms, we see everywhere detectors which are especially developed for the indoor area. So also outdoors, fires can start. It can ignite because of weather conditions, own heating, so it has its own ignition. And this is why we wanted to have an outdoor fire detection possible with the AVIOTEC. And now, since August this year, this is possible. So a detection outside of an area with maybe a roof on top, or also walls on the side, or no roof, no walls, but at least close to a building. All of that is covered with a sheltered outdoor solution. The artificial intelligence-based algorithm inside the AVIOTEC is giving us the opportunity to really do that detection. So it was really that approach enabled the AVIOTEC to go in the outdoor area. Still, we are really fast detecting the fires also in the outdoor environment because we have the same requirements than in indoor areas. And one special thing, which we are not mentioning when we just show videos about flame and smoke detection, is that the AVIOTEC is also a video surveillance camera in parallel. So all intelligent video analytics, which is normally used by video cameras to make the outside of a building even more secure, this AVIOTEC can also do. Example, somebody's going on your premise and you don't want him to be there. So you've got this intelligent video analytics inside the camera set up so that this will trigger an alarm. AVIOTEC can do as well. But now you might think, it's the same like we saw in indoor, and how is that working now outdoors, and what is the difference going outdoor? Yeah, the main difference is the weather condition. So influence by wind, sunlight, rain, all of that can cause problems in detecting fires and smoke. And this was something we needed to develop, and now it's available because we see how it can work. And not only we can see it, you will also see it now in the video. So this is a video we made also. It was our engineer who did it in the outdoor area. And what you can see here, compared to the video we've seen in the fire lab, is that the wind is influencing the smoke. True, if we've got smoke and the wind is coming, the wind is blowing the smoke away. In that case, we will see also now that the fire was already detected. You see the red outline. So this is when a fire is detected. And what we can see here is that the smoke is much more turbulent. But still, AVIOTEC detects it. And this is what needed to be developed. And true, in the outdoor area, there can be much more wind, for example, but based on dedicated planning. So how we plan the AVIOTEC to be installed in an outdoor area, which opening angles to be used, and also which settings we can make, this enables the AVIOTEC to perform really great also under weather conditions. This should show you just the smoke detection, because this is really the challenging one also in the outdoor area. And I think it shows directly that the smoke is moving to the right, then it's again moving to the left, but still the detection depends, and the AVIOTEC still detects the smoke in that cases. So I hope that you already now saw how it works, but maybe you think still, do we really need that in the outdoors? So where do we need it for? We brought some use cases with us, and those use cases should show you where we see a need for that outdoor installation. And we already heard from customers that they really have a pain, that they really need an installation, a solution which can trigger flames and smoke in the outdoor area. So the first use case we were thinking about is transportation. So logistics in the transportation part. As you can see on the picture, we've got a logistic hall, and there are trucks delivering products into that hall. At a truck, there can be a fire starting. Maybe a brake was overheating, or you can see also that small forklift on the right-hand side, a little bit down, and this has also batteries inside, so those batteries can ignite. On the really right down corner, you can see also material which is stored, which can ignite itself. If a fire starts in that area and you cannot trigger that one, it can easily spread over to the building. Or there might be something going into the building with a truck or something else, and nobody sees it. So how can we prevent that? We can only prevent that if we can detect the fire already in that kind of area. That is for the logistics part and the transportation sector and that kind. But I also want to give you an overview use case for the industrial part. Because in the industrial area, there's often a storage outdoors. It can either be a storage for your material or your products. What is the main purpose behind that we need that detection outdoor? You want to have business continuity. So as soon as a product or material to produce a product is getting destroyed or damaged by a fire, you cannot deliver on time to your customers or your partners or whomever. So as soon as we enable to detect that fires as early as possible, already when the product or the material is starting to burn, then we can ensure that the business continuity is ongoing. It's less damage, and we can also prevent that somebody is going on your premises and destroying it, or is committing arson or something like that, with the features that it's also doing the video analytics. So AVIOTech would be a great solution to make video-based fire detection, so fire detection in outdoor areas possible, and add also a video security for your site. And maybe you already have video security for the premise, so why not taking AVIOTech and easily integrate in the existing video management system to enhance the security and the safety of your building? And those are just like 2 or 3 use cases. We already heard customers which are really preventing or monitoring their storages where they store cars, so parking slots and all of that. So maybe you already have a use case behind in your head, and you can, going back to the first slide we showed, enter that just in the Menti questions, so that we also get to know, where are you looking for? Where do you think that an outdoor solution is really working? And coming back, AVIOTech is triggering the flame and the smoke like in indoor areas. The weather can influence it a little bit, but we know how to handle that. We know how to configure and how to plan to make it even really, really fast detecting flames and smoke. And I think there's one part left, and Sören wants to really, really explain to you what is the AI approach inside the AVIOTech and how is that working?
Yes, so why I want to explain it, not only because it's cool, but also it is cool. It is mainly what makes AVIOTech different. Why we can ensure that it is working in outdoor areas well. So what is the technology behind? We call it physical supported artificial intelligence. What does it mean? It means that we have a bunch of algorithms which are developed by our developers, detecting different kinds of smoke. For example, we have an algorithm which is looking for the smoke density. Is the smoke dense enough? Is it really smoke? We have algorithms which are checking, is the object we are analyzing, is it really turbulent, or is it a solid object, for example? We also do some color analysis. For example, you will not have a red smoke in, so it's really red illuminated. Or also motion analysis. How is the smoke behaving in the image? And also a bunch of algorithms behind, like background learning, checking, okay, what is part of the background or what is part of the foreground. All these algorithms are developed manually by our developers. So, and all these algorithms will feed into an artificial intelligence. Why we are doing that? So if we are looking in the past of AVIOTech, so in the beginning, so let's say 5 years ago, so we had this left part, or some of the left part, with this handcrafted algorithms. And for each of these algorithms, our developers have to check, so where's the threshold, when it is an alarm, when it is not an alarm. So, but the more algorithms you get, the more they are affecting each other. So combinations of different algorithms have an impact on the alarm decision later on. And all these information, if you gather this in an artificial intelligence and say, okay, the alarm decision, is it really an alarm, or is it a disturbance? And that artificial intelligence can do much better than a human. And what is the benefit out of that? So we have several benefits. The first one is that we can reduce the illumination in our image. I don't know if you know AVIOTech well since years. So in the beginning, we started with a needed illumination in the surrounding of 7 lux. 7 lux visible light. With this artificial intelligence approach, we could go down to 2 lux illumination. Or if you use the infrared mode of the camera, so the monochrome night mode with an infrared illumination with 0 lux visible light. So you cannot see anything with your eyes, but the camera can see it in infrared. And also detection-wise, we can detect more turbulent smoke, which is good for outdoors detection. And we can also have a higher detection range and a higher robustness of the algorithm regarding false positives. So this was the background for this physically supported artificial intelligence. So Teresa, I guess we are nearly through, so I guess we should leave some time for questions. So
Yeah.
therefore, it would be great if you have open questions that you use the Q&A for the questions that we can answer it.
And maybe Sören, you can go once back to the slide where we have the Q&A code for the Menti,
Yep.
because I just saw that I just presented the one slide and I did not made it an audience page. So now you could be also able to again answer the questions. So where you see the need for an AVIOTech installation, it's also for you to somehow interact with us. But also that we have already some questions in the chat.
Yes.
So the first question is, what is the minimum and the maximum height for the camera to be able to detect the fire and smoke accurately? Yeah.
So if we start with this question, I would say you can place it on the ground, but so it will detect your fires, so flames and smoke, if they are visible in the image, but take care that nobody is standing in front of this camera. So therefore, I would say if you mount it in a height of 2 meters, 2 meters 50 at least, so that if people are moving in your application, that they are not covering the image of the camera, this would be a good suitable height. And from the maximum height, you could also install it in 20 or 30 meters height, but then you have to take care about the tilt angles of the camera and what is needed there. The planning tool of the AVIOTech could help you. And this is available in our product catalog. So there you can download it. It is Excel based, so that everybody of you could download it and start a little bit about planning and see what is visible in the image.
Yeah, and I also think in the planning tool, you will then also see how far detection can happen also in the outdoor environment. So you will see which area can be covered. And as Sören said, if something is standing in front of the flame or the smoke, then for sure, if we cannot see it, it cannot be detected. But therefore, we plan another camera looking from the other direction. So we will also here focus on having the real scene with 2 cameras then. There is another question, and I'm really happy that that one was asked. I nearly forgot that. If you have got already an AVIOTech installed, for sure you can just upload the new firmware version, and then your AVIOTech can also detect then in the outdoor area. So if you maybe installed some AVIOTech in the indoor and you said, no, I want to have it now also outdoor detecting, like at least 1 or 2 of them, you can easily upload and upgrade the AVIOTech with a new firmware version. So, and then it will be also able to detect flames and smoke in the outdoor area. And there are even more questions popping up. I just need to look it.
Maybe I will answer shortly the certification certification topic. So
yeah.
AVIOTech is certified according to the VDS standard. So it has a VDS certification. And I'm also answering the second question with EN54. So currently there is no EN54 standard available for video-based fire detection. So therefore, we are working on that, but I guess this would take several years until this standard is available.
But we can say that the ISO is already working on something,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. So I'm part of the ISO working group. So EN decided to go with an ISO standard if this standard is testable and fits to the European requirements. So therefore, I'm part of this ISO working group so that we can push this a little bit in the right direction.
And then I saw, is there any reference for railways? Not yet. We plan to have a real great case study with a proof of concept with a railway company, but finally Corona came really in between that one, so we were not able to travel, and the railway also said no, it's also some effort, so we cannot do it. So not yet, but we are currently also in Germany working on another proof of concept for railway to see where in depots, for example, in the outdoor, that could work. So also here development is not stopping. So we're looking forward to have a real open outdoor detection also in the future. And the smoke detection in very dark, so beneath 2 lux, it is possible. You just need to ensure that there is somewhere infrared illumination installed to be able the camera to detect that smoke. But then it's possible.
Yeah.
The extreme weather, Sören, would you like to take over that one?
Yes, I can take over. So within the last year, I guess, roundabout, I did several hundreds of fire tests, also in the outdoor areas, also sometimes in my garden, because it is the easiest way to do it. So I did it during daytime, during nighttime, when it was rainy, also in winter with snow. So it worked. It also worked well, but if you have a very, let's say, a snowstorm or a very dense fog that you don't see anything, so if the smoke is not visible in the image, then this is a part so with what we could not come over. So if you don't see the smoke or the flame because it's dense smoke or dense snow, you cannot detect in this case.
But we also heard, sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you.
Please continue.
Like to have that chat. No, but I also, we heard from some tests where we installed AVIOTech in outdoor that the customers then said, look, if it's really, really wet outside and like it's that dense of rain and snow, for example, then it's really unlikely that a fire is happening. So they said then if it is working, if it's dry, and if there's a chance of getting a fire or a fire starting, then it's perfectly. And this is what we heard. This is our view. We heard also from some customers. And yeah, that's the case here for smoke and for really dense rain or fog in that case. The best industry here for AVIOTech, that's a really good question. And this is why we set up that question to get also your input. But for us, every industry and also others besides industry, it can also be like logistics or something like that. Every area where you've got high ceilings, if we are talking about indoor, where you've got the need to detect a fire at the source because you want to make sure that it's not being that big, that the damage is reduced because you can easily detect the fire in early stages. All of that, those are industries or areas where we are looking into to have AVIOTech also as an additional system to your fire detection system. It can be that a fire detection system is not triggering a smoke or a flame just because the smoke is not getting up to the system. Yeah, installed at the ceiling, smoke needs to rise. Wind influence also indoors can prevent that the smoke is rising. So all of that is often in an area where you've got high ceilings, open areas, and this is where we are looking into. And we've got examples for the pulp and paper industry. You will find them on our website. Also in the food industry, waste and recycling. This is really an industry where we are looking into, but also the logistics part. So all of that, we can imagine that the AVIOTech is giving a high benefit to the end customers.
Yeah. Also, maybe as an addition, for example, if you think about office buildings or something like that, so I guess there the current technologies with point type detectors and so on are the best solution for these areas. Yeah, the ceiling has 2 meters, 3 meters height. The smoke is relatively fast at the ceiling, and I guess this would be the best solution for that. But coming to the examples Teresa gave, high ceilings where it takes a long time until the smoke reach the installation position of the detectors. So these are the applications where we have an additional benefit here also for the customers.
One last short question from the chat, and then we are done because we're already over
Oh,
time.
sorry.
Can Aviotec be mounted on very high watchtowers?
Yes, it could be mounted there. So, but here we have to take care that the pole has not too much vibration, because if we are thinking about that, so and want to monitor very large distances, we have a strong shake in the image, and the image is moving, and therefore it's getting hard to detect smoke and flames at a position somewhere in the image. So here it could be done, but please ensure the vibration and the movement of the pole if there's strong wind.
And at the moment, that was the second part of the question I was not seeing. It's not at the moment. It's not to detect forest fires or like solar panels which are open on a field. We are really focusing with that first release on areas which are close to buildings, on a premise where we can kind of get a little bit more feeling of the weather conditions. But in the future, we are also looking with tests at the moment to go maybe also into this forest fire detection. But with the version we have currently, that's not possible yet. So just to make it round, so it's sheltered outdoors. And yeah, this is now, I think, over time, 3 minutes. I hope everybody had that time to follow. And yeah, thanks a lot for the questions. We will send over also the slides we can share with you after that webinar. And I think, Anna, it's now your time to say goodbye.
Yes, right. Yes, thank you very much for joining us today. Thank you also from my side for the questions. We have received so many interesting questions, especially regarding the use cases, typical applications. This means that there is a huge need in the market. This is just confirmed again. Well, within a couple of days, we will share the presentation with you with the recording version of the webinar. And then if you have any further questions, please do not hesitate to contact us anytime via mails, via the LinkedIn profile. So we offer several channels to contact us. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
You.
Bye.